The courtroom fell silent. Not the normal kind of silence. Not nervous silence. Not respectful silence. This was the kind of silence that happens when every human brain inside a room suddenly stops understanding reality. Because the woman standing near the courtroom entrance was supposed to be dead. 6 days earlier, police had pulled her body from the freezing waters beneath Raven Bridge in Seattle. The coroner confirmed the identity. The husband identified the body. The funeral already happened. And yet, there she was, alive, breathing, looking directly at the man accused of murdering her, Daniel Reeves, her husband. His face lost all color. The judge stood up slowly. One juror began crying. And somewhere in the back row, someone whispered, "That's impossible." The woman stepped forward calmly. Her wet black coat dripped water onto the courtroom floor. Then she pointed toward the defense table and said something that would destroy every person in that courtroom forever. "No." Her voice trembled slightly. "He didn't kill me." She slowly turned toward the audience gallery, toward the rows of silent strangers watching the trial, then pointed at a man sitting near the back wall. A man nobody had noticed before. A man wearing black gloves and dark sunglasses indoors. That man did. The stranger stood up immediately and smiled. Then everything went black. Seattle, Washington. Rain covered the city almost every night that winter. The news called it the coldest January in 12 years. But people weren't afraid of the weather. They were afraid of the Raven Bridge murder. Because Emily Reeves wasn't just another victim. She was famous. A criminal psychologist. Author of 2 best-selling books. A woman who spent years studying manipulative killers. Which made her death feel almost poetic. Or terrifying. Depending on who you asked. Police reports claimed Emily disappeared after leaving a charity event downtown. Her car was later found abandoned near Raven Bridge. Engine still running. Driver's side door open. Phone missing. 3 days later, her body was discovered floating beneath the bridge. Official cause of death: drowning. But social media exploded with theories after details leaked online. Bruises around her wrists. Sedatives in bloodstream. Signs of restraint. This wasn't suicide. Someone wanted Emily Reeves dead. And very quickly. All suspicion landed on her husband, Daniel Reeves. A respected architect with no criminal history. No history of violence. No public scandals. But detectives discovered something disturbing. 3 weeks before Emily's death, Daniel purchased life insurance worth $4 million. And according to neighbors, the couple had been fighting constantly. Police also recovered deleted text messages from Daniel's phone. Messages sent to another woman. A woman named Claire Holden. The media loved it. Perfect husband. Secret affair. Dead wife. The story consumed America within days. Every news channel covered the case nonstop. By the time the trial began, people already believed Daniel Reeves was guilty. Even before the jury entered the courtroom, Daniel barely spoke during the trial. That's what unsettled people most. He didn't cry. Didn't defend himself emotionally. Didn't look angry. He simply sat there quietly, like a man already exhausted from explaining something nobody wanted to believe. The prosecution painted him as cold and calculated. A man who murdered his wife for freedom and money. And honestly, the evidence looked terrible. Especially after Detective Marcus Shaw testified. Marcus was Seattle PD's most respected homicide investigator. 22 years in the department. No major mistakes. No corruption accusations. The public trusted him completely. Marcus told the jury that Daniel's fingerprints were found inside Emily's abandoned vehicle. Daniel's DNA appeared on rope fibers recovered near the bridge. And surveillance footage showed Daniel's car near Raven Bridge around midnight. Case closed. At least that's what everyone thought. Until the 4th day of trial. 11:42 a.m. That's when the courtroom doors opened. And Emily Reeves walked inside. Alive. People screamed. One juror fainted immediately. The judge yelled for security. Daniel stood up so fast his chair crashed backward. But Emily ignored everyone except Detective Marcus Shaw. The moment she saw him, fear appeared on her face. Real fear. Not confusion. Not shock. Fear. Like she had just seen the devil himself. Marcus noticed it too. For the first time in his career, the legendary detective looked nervous. Emily backed away slowly, then pointed directly at him. He killed the wrong woman. The courtroom froze again. Marcus stared at her silently, then smiled. A tiny smile, barely visible. But Emily saw it, and suddenly she panicked. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." Then she screamed, "Don't let him leave." Marcus moved instantly. He pulled a handgun from inside his jacket. Chaos exploded inside the courtroom. People dropped to the floor. Security officers shouted. Gunshots echoed against the walls. Glass shattered. And during those few seconds of madness, Marcus Shaw disappeared. Hours later, Seattle police reopened the entire investigation, because now they had a horrifying question. If Emily Reeves was alive, then whose body had been buried 6 days earlier? The answer came faster than expected. The dead woman was identified as Melissa Grant, age 32, a recovering drug addict who disappeared 2 months earlier. No family, no missing person investigation. Nobody noticed she was gone, but someone altered dental records to make Melissa's corpse appear identical to Emily Reeves. Someone inside law enforcement helped create the fake identification, and only one person had direct access to every piece of evidence: Detective Marcus Shaw. Suddenly the perfect murder case became something far darker. Not a jealous husband, not insurance fraud, but a planned conspiracy. And Emily Reeves knew exactly why. 3 years earlier, Emily worked with Seattle PD as a psychological consultant. That's where she met Marcus Shaw. At first he seemed brilliant, calm, professional, controlled. But Emily noticed patterns nobody else saw. Marcus enjoyed crime scenes too much. He revisited photographs repeatedly, asked unnecessary details about victims, sometimes smiled during autopsy discussions. Tiny things, invisible things. But Emily studied predators for a living, and Marcus Shaw behaved exactly like one. Eventually Emily began secretly documenting her suspicions. Then she discovered missing evidence connected to multiple unsolved murders. Victims disappeared from reports. DNA samples vanished. Witnesses changed statements. And every case somehow involved Marcus. Emily realized something horrifying. The detective investigating serial killers was one himself. But before she could expose him, Marcus found out. Marcus knew killing Emily would attract attention. So instead, he created something smarter. He framed Daniel. Marcus manipulated evidence for weeks, used Daniel's affair as motive, planted rope fibers, altered timestamps, even staged Emily's fake death using Melissa Grant's body. Meanwhile, the real Emily was held inside an abandoned psychiatric facility outside Seattle. Drugged, restrained, hidden. Marcus planned everything carefully. Once Daniel received conviction, Marcus intended to kill Emily permanently. No witnesses left. Perfect ending. Except Marcus underestimated one thing. Emily Reeves spent her entire career studying psychopaths. And psychopaths always make the same mistake eventually. Ego. Marcus wanted to watch the trial personally. Wanted to see Daniel destroyed. Wanted to enjoy the masterpiece he created. That arrogance gave Emily enough time to escape and walk directly into the courtroom. 3 days later, police found Marcus Shaw hiding inside an abandoned fishing warehouse near the Seattle docks. He didn't resist arrest, didn't panic, didn't even run. He simply sat in darkness waiting, almost calmly. Bodycam footage from that arrest was never released publicly. But according to officers present, Marcus asked only one question after being handcuffed. "Did she tell you everything?" Nobody answered. Marcus smiled, then quietly said, "She still doesn't remember the lake." The statement made no sense at the time, until Emily suddenly collapsed during a police interview hours later, because buried beneath weeks of trauma. One memory finally retained, a memory she completely forgot. The night Marcus abducted her, she saw another woman inside the psychiatric facility, another prisoner, still alive. And before Emily escaped, that woman whispered something through a locked steel door. 3 words. "He works together." Not alone. Together. Police searched the facility immediately, but they arrived too late. The room was empty. Only one thing remained inside: a tape recorder. And when detectives pressed play, a distorted female voice whispered, "If you're hearing this, he found me first." Some people kill for money. Some kill for revenge. But the most dangerous killers kill because they enjoy becoming invisible. Because once society trusts a monster, the monster no longer needs to hide. And maybe that's the most terrifying part of all. Not that evil exists, but that sometimes evil wears a badge and smiles while everyone applauds. Tonight before sleeping, look carefully at the people you trust most. Because the worst predators rarely look dangerous. They look safe.